Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Math notebooks out. Label it at the top. Today is April 6th. And you guys have a math test tomorrow, okay? So today we are going to review for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have a copy of the test right here. What we go over today is what's going to be on your test. So if I write on the board, you need to write it in your notes, okay? If you're comfortable with everything that we go over today, then you're ready to go for the test. If there's things that we're going over that you're like, man, I can't quite remember that, those are the things that you need to study tonight to be prepared tomorrow. There's no reason why everybody doesn't have an A, since I am telling you what to study, what to be ready for. All right? Number 1. And there's going to be some things that we don't discuss, and I simply tell you, you need to know this. And you're going to spend your time, then your study time, looking some things up. You have 17 problems on your test tomorrow. It will be on Schoology. Octagon. How many sides does an octagon have, Mimi?
6.
She says 6. Kara? 8. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you agree with Kara. Thumbs up. 8. I want everybody to draw an octagon right now on their paper. And it doesn't have to be a regular octagon. It can be irregular. All right, everybody draw a picture. If you forgot to use your iPad and look it up, draw an octagon though. Is there only one way to draw an octagon?
No.
No. So I want you, when you're looking up octagons on your iPad, look at some different examples of octagons. I'm going to give you a minute to do that right now. Thirty more seconds. All right, number 2. A hexagon. How many sides does a hexagon have, Bradley?
6.
He says 6. Show me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Ooh, I see a couple of thumbs downs and I see some thumbs up. So I know I've got some friends here who are not exactly sure here. Max, what do you think?
I agree with Brad.
You agree with Brad? 6? Anybody disagree then? Left? All right. 6 sides. All right, on your iPad, I want you to look up some hexagons and draw one on your paper now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not remembering these shapes and how many sides they have, that is what you need to study tonight. You have to memorize these.
Can you draw too?
No, I'm not drawing. Good try. You guys get enough of my lovely drawing. I try not to if I don't have to. more seconds. All right, number 3. What is the sum of an angle measures of a triangle? Of the angle measure. So when you add up all of the angles in a triangle, it is always going to come to what number? Hannah? She says 160. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
300.
Oh, she said 360. Sorry, 360. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I see some of both. I've got some friends who are going to need to study. Alyssa. Alyssa says 180 degrees. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I still see some of both. Thumbs up and thumbs down. Ladies and gentlemen, do some research on your iPad. When you add up all the angles of a triangle, how many degrees? And we use that little symbol, our small circle, for degrees. How many degrees is a triangle when you add up all 3 angles? Triangles have 3 angles. It doesn't matter what kind of angle, whether it's one like this, one like this, one like this. They're always going to add up to what, Justice? Justice says 180. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up. Yes, always 180. So piggybacking off of number 3, I actually want to skip down to number 6 then. So if I have a triangle and I have 54 degrees on this angle right here, I have 29 degrees right here. How many degrees is going to be where that X is? I'm missing that X. I'm using X to represent that number. Using X as that variable. How am I going to find out what is my missing angle here? What would I do? What would be my equation? Malia?
You add up the 54 and 29, and then you subtract it from 100.
And why 180?
Because that's how much triangles.
Very nice. So she said that I need to add 54 plus 29, and then I take that answer and subtract it from 180, because I know that all my angles always have to be 180. Okay, so I want you to do that now. Add up 54 plus 29, and then subtract that from 180. Do that now. Number 6. Find my missing angle for number 6. I have 54 and I have 29. What is my missing angle of X? I have some friends who are just sitting, guys. I can tell who's going to be doing good on my test tomorrow. My friends who are participating. Mason, what do you get?
97.
He said 97 degrees. Do we agree with that?
Yes.
Yes. When you add up 54 plus 29, what was 54 plus 29?
It was 83.
He says 83, so 180 minus 83 is 97. All right. Let's go back up to number 4 and finish where we left off there. How many acute angles does an equilateral triangle, like the one I drew, rough sketch of it, how many acute angles does an equilateral triangle have? And to know that answer, think about, what does equilateral mean? What does equilateral mean? Tell somebody next to you now, what does equilateral mean? Discuss the answer. How many angles acute angles then does an equilateral triangle have? Aiden, what's your answer?
0.
He says 0. Does anybody have anything different? Mimi?
I thought it was 3.
Mimi says 3. Raise your hand if you agree with 3. I've got some friends not sure, so they're not doing anything. Ladies and gentlemen, what does equilateral mean? Equal. How many are going to be equal?
3.
All 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
So how many acute angles would an equilateral have then?
Oh, wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
3.
I doubted myself.
If it's acute, that means all of our angles are less than 90. And if it's equilateral, that means they all are the same. So if they're all acute, or even if one's acute, they all have to be acute because they're telling us it's an equilateral triangle. Also know, so we just talked about equilateral and acute triangles. I want you in your notebook to draw an acute equilateral triangle. If you're not sure, ladies and gentlemen, look it up. Draw an acute equilateral triangle. I did my best. Here's my rough sketch now. I want you to draw one as well. An acute equilateral triangle. Acute equilateral triangle. Draw one. They're just testing the sirens outside. That's the noise you hear. 30 more seconds. Megan, you can clip down the door. Thank you. Thank you. All right, number 5. Tell me how many sides does a pentagon have? How many sides does a pentagon have? Charlie? 5.
Yes.
She is correct at 5. I want you to draw a pentagon. I want you to look up pentagons on your iPad. Look at some different examples. Draw a pentagon. Actually, let's go over here. We're moving again.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it all in the front.
It showed me a picture of the Pentagon State Building.
Oh, yes, it might show you a picture of the Pentagon State Building. Yeah, we have some government Pentagon buildings, so type in Pentagon shape.
Or you can just look at the
6. Very nice. And he said if you look at the building, it is a Pentagon shape. So you could draw the shape of the building. That would work. All right, number 7. Pretend that I drew an exact square. Mine's not exact. I've got a little odd curve here. Okay, it's not measured. It's a rough sketch. But pretend it's a perfect square, okay? That I used a ruler, okay? And I cut that square in half. Which type of triangle would I have then? Or I should say triangles. Would I have right there then? And I'm looking for 2 words. I want you to think about the angles and the sides. Give me 2 words, not just one. I know if you guys have one word in mind. Give me 2 words in mind to describe the angles that I would have formed when I cut my square in half. Discuss it with somebody in your area. What kind of triangles will I have just formed? Giving me 2 words. Think about angles and sides. Are words to classify using angles or to classify using sides? I want 2.
It keeps putting a white screen and then the apple.
Okay. Turn it all the way off and all the way back on. All right, giving me 2 words to describe my triangles that I just formed. What is one that you would say, Aiden? All right, yeah. If I could look at my corners here at this angle, and I can see that I would have 2 right angles for those triangles. Good. How else could I classify those triangles? Justice. Isosceles. Very nice. Perfect. If I drew a rectangle, and it doesn't matter which way I draw it, if I draw a rectangle, it doesn't matter big, small, what is going to be the measure of each angle of a rectangle? What's going to be the measure of each angle in that rectangle? What's going to be the measure of each angle in a rectangle? Think about when you check triangles and you can make that perfect L and you make that little box. How many degrees is that when you can do that? Because in a rectangle, can't I do that? If these are drawn exact, can't I do that in every angle? So, what is the degree of every angle of a rectangle? Raina? 90. Always a 90. Very good. Number 9. Remember when we talked about classifying a rectangle and a square? Do you remember when we said we can't think like we're in kindergarten anymore, that this shape is only a square or only a rectangle? We had to think about, when we think about our real math terms, that sometimes they can be 2 or 3 names, right? So I want you to know, I'm not going to give you guys the answer to this one. This is what I kind of want you guys to study up on tonight and be ready to go with tomorrow. But I want you to think about, can squares be rectangles? Can squares, or can rectangles be squares? I want you to be ready to go with that answer tomorrow. Can squares be rectangles? Can rectangles be squares? Be ready to go with that tomorrow. Okay? Number 10. Tell me, number 10, tell me what quadrilateral has opposite sides parallel and opposite sides equal. I have to sneeze. Whew, thanks. There's a false alarm. It went away. Tell me, in what quadrilateral are opposite sides parallel and opposite sides equal? I'll say it one more time. In what quadrilateral are opposite sides parallel and opposite sides equal? Discuss it with somebody in your area now. I'm going to even tell you your options. Ready? Parallelogram, trapezoid, rectangle, square, triangle.